Hey there, comic book friends. I'm Travis, and this is another edition of What the Fugue, where I talk about what's going on with me and my world of comics. How's it going? 2 weeks, I think. 3 weeks. Doesn't matter. Anyway, what's going on with me and my world of comics? Well, I survived the month of September, not getting basically any DC books. Picked up a few in that first week of the 3D covers, and then proceeded not to pick up any others. It was interesting. It was interesting not getting as many books. It was interesting not getting any DC books. So that left me with I think, probably for the entire month, I think I only read I want to say 6 at most. 6 superhero books. I could almost go and not ever read superhero books. Almost. There's getting to be so many no capes, books out there now that are really cool, that seem less marginal and less mundane than a lot of the superhero books are right now. So, it kind of makes me think a little bit more. I'm not going to give up reading superhero books. Heck no. I like superhero books. I still think there's a lot to be told in a superhero book. But I do think more and more there's less and less being explored with a superhero book. Granted, superhero books have been around for a very long time, so it's harder to explore stuff, but I still think that they could deliver things in some sort of an exciting way or an interesting way than what some of the books are. Feel like they're going through the motions. No insult to anybody out there that might be watching this that's a creator, but it does feel like lots of times we're going through the motions. And so it may change my comic buying habits some, I think. Like I said, not that I'm dropping superhero books or anything, but just in general, I need to be a little more honest with myself about why am I buying a book. But is it okay to buy a book if it's marginal? Sure it is. I think it is. But for me anyway, as long as I'm not missing getting something else that could be better, because I do have some undefined budget that I want to stick within with buying books. And so I shouldn't be hanging on to something just because if there's something else out there that could be better than that. So might do a little more exploring of some other superhero books and move some of my standards that I have been getting. But we'll see. Anyway, I survived that week. This was the first week of me getting all my comics back, getting comics again, which has been nice so far, getting to read and have this big old stack of comics as opposed to 4 comics. So that's really cool. Speaking of the stuff that I read and whatnot, rumor has it that I think it's been said on Bleeding Cool. I don't think it's been actually officially posted anyplace. Plus the fact I had other people telling me about it. That Francis Manipool and Brian Bucciarello, I think that's what his name is. Sorry if I'm killing it. I think he's a colorist that works with Francis a whole bunch. Of course, they have left Flash. We know that they're leaving Flash. It sounds like they're going to be taking over Detective Comics. That'll be interesting. I always envision them as being kind of bright and flashy artists, and that's typically not my vision of Batman. Not that Batman has to be all shadows and cloak, but he's a lot of that, right? So that'll be cool. It'd be cool to see somebody else doing something different on it. I know that that leads to the next question is where is Layman and Fabok going? I know that Layman's writing another book. It was not announced, but it was stated that he's going to be writing another book for DC. I don't know what's happened to Jason Fabok. They got to find something else for that guy to do because, man, his artwork is outstanding, I think. I mean, it is perfect superhero art, I think. It fits all the standards, but does it very, very well. So they better get him on something else if he's not going to be doing Detective Comics anymore. They better not lose him to something stupid. So there's that. I'll still be getting Detective Comics. I generally almost always get Detective Comics, and this isn't something that puts me off of Detective Comics. One thing that does potentially put me off of Detective Comics, but not really, So there's another thing that's come out is that DC has some books that are $3.99. Typically, those books have been books that have like the 20-page story in them, and then have have a backup story, 5 or 6 pages of backup story or some other content that's in the book. That's why we're paying that $3.99 for it, or the main story fills up all the pages. Sounds like those pages are going away, or at most, instead of being 20 pages, what a typical DC book is, it'll be like 22 pages, and it'll stay $3.99. It'll have that. Anyways, if you've been buying DC comics, like if you're buying the Forever Evil or Batman, Superman, or those kind of things, you notice their cover is made of a much thicker, harder card type stock. These $3.99 books will continue to have that higher quality cover on it, I believe. So that's cool. Is it worth? So you're getting the same amount of content like that's in a Marvel book. For the $3.99, because most Marvel books are $3.99, except for the DC one, you don't have that newspaper kind of crappy stock that the Marvel makes theirs out of. You have this higher end stock. But the question is that worth it? Is it worth it to be paying that extra dollar for a cover, basically? I don't know if it is or not. Obviously, the $3.99, I'm not drawing a line there saying I'm not buying books at that rate, because I do buy books at that rate. A lot of the indie books are at that rate. Or they're at $3.50. And there's my dumb dog barking. I think he's done now. It's so to me, that's not so much the issue. It's a matter of, am I going to pay that price for something that doesn't hold my interest? And so that's going to be more of the litmus test is where there was stuff I was getting because, well, it's an extra dollar, but I'm getting all these extra pages. So if it was, it was fine, But if I'm not getting those extra pages and it's costing me more and it's mediocre, like I said, like I was talking earlier about it, I'm going to think about it more. But the price really doesn't make that much difference to me. It adds up, don't get me wrong. I obviously can't get as many $4 books as I can $3 books. That's obvious math and whatnot. But it isn't going to keep me from buying a book that I'm interested in buying. So there is that. So I don't know what I think about that whole, it's going to continue to cost this extra dollar and all you're getting is a harder, shinier cover out of it. So I'm not sure on that. I'm sure I'll come back to that once those books start coming out. Decide what's going to be on that. Whether or not I'm really interested in that. So there is that. What else is going on? I talked a little bit about my last No Capes there at the end. Here in the middle of the month, I am going to actually physically be getting together with Sleep Reader 666 Damien, where he lives clear on the West Coast. I live inland. We're going to meet in between in a small town in Oregon and have a chat, and have lunch or whatever, and talk comic books, and hopefully we're going to get some of that recorded. We're both we're both reading some No Cape books, and we're going to talk about those together, and hopefully we can get that on camera so we can share that with everybody else. I'm really excited about it. That's going to be fun. I love meeting and getting to talk comics with people. I don't get to do quite so much of it. I used to have a job that had me driving to another town, and when I was in that other town, I could go out to lunch, once a week if I wanted to, or even more than that if I wanted to, with Eric from Longbox Review, and we could just BS comics then, which was always cool to do too. So I'm looking forward to this. That'll be fun. Middle of the month, I believe October 12th, but don't 100% quote me on that. That is a Saturday, sometime around 8:30 or 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I am going to be doing a little show. I'll talk more about it when we get closer. I have talked to a few people about doing it. These are just the initial people that I want to, small little group to start out with, see how that goes, see how the format goes that I want to use, and then certainly I want to start inviting more of you into doing the show with me. So if I haven't contacted you about it, please don't feel offended. I really do plan on pulling a bunch of you guys in to talk comic books and subjects and whatnot. And this show is just going to be bi-monthly at most, twice a month at most that it'll be. It's just going to be something a little extra. It's going to be late at night for a lot of you guys. I mean, unless you live on the West Coast, and I know that most of the people that I talk to don't live on the West Coast. So one of the stories I'm doing this show is to incorporate some of the West Coast people in that lots of times can't get to these early shows that a lot of the East Coast people have. This gives them a chance to get their family lives settled in and then be able to be on the show too. So looking forward to that. What else is going on with me in my world of comics? I think that's it. I think that's what I got to talk about this week. I think, of course, we'll have Comic Book Roundtable on Friday. Be over on Constant Bromstar's channel, I'm sure. Should be lots of fun. I figure I'll be there as long as I get the invite. Anyway, I'll be there, and hope to see some of you guys there. Hopefully, we'll get those comments things squared away so we can start talking to some of the comments that are in the thing. So please keep commenting on those when we do those live shows. It's great. We like to see the comments and be able to talk. And of course, it's fun if you're not on the show to be in the comments, I think, and chat with the people that are also there watching the show along with it too. At least I enjoy that in the live shows that I get to anyway. Well, I think that's it. Yeah, I can't think of anything else, and I don't want to sit here in awkward silence trying to think of something else. So I hope everybody's having a great week in comics, and I'm sure I'll catch people across the weekend and in the next week. See ya.